gratitude as the law unfolds the effect. The master does not panic during the waiting period, does not try to force the outcome, does not manipulate people or circumstances. The master simply maintains the cause, trusts the law, and allows the manifestation to occur naturally. This is the difference between struggle and flow, between effort and grace, between manipulation and creation. When you stop meddling with the middle and start trusting the law, you discover that manifestation becomes effortless. The universe begins to work on your behalf in ways that surprise and delight you, bringing opportunities, people, and resources that you could never have orchestrated through your own limited efforts. Holmes gave a command that encapsulates the entire science of mind. There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it, but it can only do for you what it can do through you. This statement contains the complete blueprint for mastery. There is a power, the universal law, the creative principle, the intelligence that built galaxies and orchestrates the dance of atoms. This power is for good. It is not hostile, not capricious, not withholding. It is designed to create, to expand, to express life in ever greater forms. This power is greater than you are. It is infinite while you are finite. It is omnipotent while you are limited. It is omniscient while you are learning. And you can use it. This is the revolutionary teaching. You are not at the mercy of this power. You are a user of this power. You have access to it, authority over it, the ability to direct it. But the final clause contains the key that most people miss. It can only do for you what it can do through you. The power cannot create in your life if you are blocking it with your consciousness. The law cannot manifest wealth if you are thinking poverty. The universe cannot bring you love if you are radiating unworthiness. The creative principle cannot heal your body if you are holding thoughts of disease. The power is infinite, but it can only flow through the channel of your consciousness. If that channel is clogged with fear, doubt, limitation, and complaint, the power cannot express itself fully in your experience. You are the limiting factor, not the power. The power is always ready, always willing, always able. The question is whether you are ready, willing, and able to let it work through you. This means that your primary job is not to create, but to allow. You do not create wealth, health, love, or success through your own effort. You allow the power to create these things through you by aligning your consciousness with them. You become a clear channel, a pure vessel, an open door through which the infinite can express itself in finite form. Holmes taught that this is the secret of effortless manifestation. When you stop trying to create through struggle and start allowing the power to create through alignment, everything becomes easy. The universe begins to support you. Circumstances begin to favor you. People begin to help you. Opportunities begin to appear. This is not luck. This is law. This is the natural result of becoming a clear channel for the power. The way you become a clear channel is by removing the obstructions. The obstructions are your limiting beliefs, your negative thoughts, your habitual complaints, your unconscious patterns. These are the things that block the flow of the power through you. Holmes taught that you do not need to create the power. The power already exists. You do not need to earn it, deserve it, or qualify for it. It is your birthright as a conscious being. You simply need to remove the blocks that are preventing it from flowing through you. This is why the causation protocol focuses on identifying and neutralizing limiting beliefs. Every time you neutralize a limiting belief, you remove a block. Every time you remove a block, you increase the flow of power through your life. And as the flow increases, manifestation becomes faster, easier, and more complete. Holmes also taught that the power works through you according to your acceptance. The law can only give you what you are willing to receive. If you believe you are only worthy of a small amount of wealth, the law can only give you a small amount. If you believe you are only capable of a limited degree of health, the law can only give you that limited degree. Your acceptance is the measure of your manifestation. This is why it is so important to expand your consciousness, to think bigger thoughts, to claim greater possibilities. The power is infinite, but your experience of it is limited by your acceptance. When you expand your acceptance, you expand your experience. When you claim more, you receive more. When you dare to believe in greater possibilities, the law brings you greater manifestations. This principle has profound implications for how you approach approach life. Most people are trying to get the universe to give them things. They are begging, pleading, hoping, wishing. But Holmes taught that you do not need to get the universe to give you anything. The universe is already giving you everything. It is flowing through you constantly, creating your experience moment by moment. The question is not whether the universe will give, but whether you will receive. And you receive by accepting, by claiming, by knowing that what you desire is already yours in the realm of cause, and is now making its way into the realm of effect. This is the consciousness of mastery, and it is available to you right now. Holmes insisted that this is not arrogance, this is recognition of your true nature. You are not a separate, isolated being cut off from the source of all good. You are an individualized expression of that source. You are a localized point of consciousness through which the infinite seeks to express itself. The power that created the universe is flowing through you right now, in this moment, creating your experience according to the patterns you hold in consciousness. When you recognize this, when you truly know this, you stop begging and start claiming. You stop hoping and start knowing. You stop trying and start allowing. And in that shift, everything changes. The Master's tips are simple but profound. Maintain your consciousness, trust the law, and allow the power to work through you. Do not complicate the process with endless techniques, rituals, or strategies. The process is simple. Identify the cause of your problem, neutralize it, set a new cause in motion, and maintain that new cause while the law produces a corresponding effect. Everything else is distraction. Everything else is meddling. Everything else is doubt masquerading as action. Holmes taught that the master is not the person who knows the most techniques. The master is the person who understands the law most deeply and applies it most consistently. The master is the person who has learned to think from cause instead of effect, to speak from power instead of complaint, to act from certainty instead of fear. You are learning to become that master. You are learning to operate your mental factory consciously instead of unconsciously. You are learning to use the power that is greater than you are. You are learning to remove the blocks that have been preventing the infinite from expressing itself for your life. This is not an overnight process, but it is a certain process. Every time you apply the causation protocol, you get better at it. Every time you catch yourself complaining and choose silence instead, you strengthen your mastery. Every time you resist the urge to meddle and trust the law instead, you deepen your understanding. This is the path of transformation. You see the belly rolls? Oh yeah, bro. That's for the best, honestly. I'm trying to gain some extra belly fat. I still got the abs, but I'm trying to put on some extra weight. I think it'll help me with my mobility a little bit. I've always been like very, very skinny, but like toned muscular, right? But I'm trying to put on some extra weight. I think it would just help me out a little bit. But we'll see. We'll know when we get there. Wait, one sec. Keep doing it. Good luck. Thank you, bro. What is your name? Like Bagels 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Hey, bro. Thank you for the support, homie. Much love. Oh yeah, I can get one more in before the time starts. And just as Newton demonstrated that you cannot have action without reaction, Holmes demonstrated that you cannot have cause without effect. The universe is a system of perfect correspondence, where every input produces a specific output, where every seed produces a specific where every thought produces a specific experience. This is not mysticism. This is mechanics. Okay. Everything's aligned, all perfect. Holmes was teaching the physics of consciousness long before quantum or playing the equipment. You believe in accident. Okay. Gonna get started here. Bye. Bye, like bagels.
Take care of yourself. Thank you for showing up, bro. Hey, it's 40 minutes. I'm gonna do the podcast all the way through. Then then eventually, when I continue this, I'm only gonna play it once in a while, cause so I can embrace more of the silence. I will do it like say every every other every other day. I think that'd be okay. Then I can actually put in the people's names who made this. But yeah. Anyways, let's get started. 40 minutes.
You believe that you are lucky one day and unlucky the next, that fortune smiles upon some
Yeah.
and abandons others without reason or pattern. Ernest Holmes taught that the word accident does not exist in the dictionary of the universe. Everything you see, your empty bank account, your recurring illness, your loneliness, is an effect. And by the laws of physics and metaphysics, no effect can exist without a cause. You are the unknowing generator of these causes. The moment you understand that you are the first cause of your experience, you stop being a victim of fate and become the master of destiny. This is not philosophy. This is the iron law of causation that governs every atom in existence. The pain you feel is the sensation of helplessness, the terrible knowledge that you are being tossed around by forces you cannot control. The economy crashes and your security vanishes. Other people make decisions and your life changes. Politics shifts and your future becomes uncertain. You have been taught that you are a leaf in the wind, powerless against the storms of circumstance. But Holmes reveals something that will shake the foundation of your victimhood. You are trying to sweep away the shadow while standing in the light that casts it. You are fighting the symptoms, battling the reflections, wrestling with the effects while the cause remains untouched and continues to generate the very problems you are desperately trying to solve. Holmes promises that if you ignore the effect and change the invisible cause, which is your thought, the effect must change. It works with the precision of a chemical equation. Change the formula, change the reaction. This is not wishful thinking or positive affirmations whispered into the void. This is the recognition that thought is the first cause in your individual universe, and that the law of mind operates with mathematical certainty. When you pour acid into alkaline, you get a specific reaction every single time. When you pour fear into the universal substance, you get disaster every single time. The law does not care about your intentions or your struggles. It only responds to the nature of the cause you set in motion. You have been living as if your thoughts were private, as if they disappeared into nothingness the moment they left your consciousness. Holmes taught that every thought is a seed planted in the soil of universal law, and that soil is so fertile, so responsive, that it will grow whatever you plant with absolute fidelity. You have been planting thistles and wondering why you harvest pain. You have been planting poverty and wondering why abundance eludes you. The moment you understand this causative relationship, you gain access to a power that most people never discover in their entire lifetime. In this video, we will learn the causation protocol, how to trace a problem back to its mental root and kill it instantly. You will learn to become a detective of your own consciousness, following the thread of effect back to its source in cause. You will learn to neutralize the old patterns that have been generating your suffering, and to consciously set new causes in motion that will produce the life you actually desire. This is not theory. This is the engineering of destiny through the precise application of mental law. But there is a dangerous habit called the reinfection. Most people kill the old cause, but then immediately replant it with a specific phrase they say when they are tired, when they are frustrated, when their guard is down. It is a virus that sneaks back into the system and restarts the entire cycle of suffering. I will warn you about this virus in part 4, and I will show you how to build immunity against it. The difference between those who transform their lives and those who remain trapped in cycles of failure is not talent or luck. It is their ability to avoid this single mistake. If you are ready to take responsibility for your life, if you are ready to stop blaming the economy, other people, your past, or your circumstances, then comment below, "I am the cause." This is not just a phrase. It is a declaration of power. It is the moment you stop being a victim and become a creator. It is the moment you recognize that every effect in your life has been generated by a cause that originated in your own consciousness. And if you have been the cause of your problems, then you can also be the cause of your solutions. Subscribe to this channel now, because what you are about to learn is not taught in schools, churches, or universities. This is the hidden science of causation, and it will change everything. Ernest Holmes taught that the universe is a result of a thinker thinking thoughts into a substance. There is an infinite intelligence, a first cause, that thinks the cosmos into existence. In your individual life, you are that thinker. You are not the infinite, but you are an individualized center of the same creative power that built galaxies and set electrons spinning in their orbits. The law is the soil, neutral, receptive, infinitely fertile. Your life is the harvest, the visible manifestation of the invisible seeds you have planted. If you have thistles in your garden, it is because you planted thistle seeds, consciously or unconsciously. The law is iron. It does not pity you. It simply grows what you plant. This is the mental factory, and it operates 24 hours a day without shushi. Every thought you think is a blueprint handed to the universal builder. Every belief you hold is a mold into which the formless substance of the universe is poured. Every mental pattern you maintain is a circuit through which creative energy flows. You have been running this factory your entire life, but you have been running it unconsciously, handing in random blueprints, pouring substance into broken molds, creating circuits that short-circuit your own success. The moment you become conscious of this process, you gain the ability to engineer your experience with precision. Consider the mechanics of this operation. When you think a thought, you are not just moving electrical impulses through neurons. You are impressing a pattern upon the universal mind, which Holmes called the subjective mind, or the creative medium. This medium is completely impersonal and infinitely responsive. It does not judge your thoughts as good or bad, worthy or unworthy. It simply receives the impress and begins the process of manifestation. If you impress it with the thought, "I am always broke," the medium does not argue with you. It does not say, "But you could be rich if you tried harder." It simply accepts the pattern and begins to arrange circumstances, people, and events to match that pattern. The beauty and the terror of this system is its absolute reliability. You cannot trick the law. You cannot pray for prosperity on Sunday and then spend Monday through Saturday thinking thoughts of lack and expect the prayer to override the habitual pattern. The law responds to the dominant mental equivalent you hold, not to your occasional wishes or desperate pleas. Holmes was adamant about this point. The universe is a mirror, and it will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. If you frown at a mirror, the reflection frowns back. You cannot force the reflection to smile by hitting the glass, by begging the mirror, or by explaining to the mirror why you deserve to see a smile. You must smile first. The cause must change before the effect can change. This principle operates at every level of your existence. Your health is an effect of your mental cause. Your relationships are effects of your mental cause. Your financial situation is an effect of your mental cause. Holmes did not teach that you consciously choose disease or poverty. Most people would never consciously choose suffering. But he taught that you unconsciously accept patterns of thought that inevitably produce these effects. You inherit beliefs from your parents, your culture, your religion. You absorb fears from the news, from gossip, from the collective anxiety of the masses. These thoughts become the seeds in your mental factory, and the law grows them without question. The thistle is not evil, and the law is not punishing you by growing it. The law is simply doing what it does, taking the nature of the seed and producing a plant that matches that nature. If you plant an acorn, you get an oak tree, not a rose bush. If you plant the thought people cannot be trusted, you get a life filled with betrayal and suspicion. Not because the universe is conspiring against you, but because the law is faithfully manifesting the pattern you provided. This is the iron law of causation, and it operates with the same consistency as gravity. Drop a stone, and it falls. Think a thought, and it manifests. The only variable is time, the lag between the planting and the harvest. Most people never understand this. They look at their lives and see chaos, randomness, injustice. They see themselves as victims of forces beyond their control. But Holmes taught that there is no chaos in the universe, only patterns we have not yet recognized. There is no randomness, only causes we have not yet traced back to their source. There is no injustice, only the perfect operation of a law that gives to each person exactly what they have mentally claimed. This is not cruelty. This is mathematics. This is not punishment. This is physics. The law does not care about your excuses, your history, or your suffering. It only cares about the nature of the cause you are setting in motion right now. When you grasp this principle, you realize that you have been holding the keys to your prison the entire time. You have been the jailer and the prisoner, the problem and the solution, the cause of your bondage, and the potential cause of your freedom. The mental factory has been producing exactly what you programmed it to produce. If you want a different harvest, you must plant different seeds. If you want a different reflection, you must change your face. If you want a different effect, you must establish a different cause. This is not complicated, but it requires a level of responsibility that most people are unwilling to accept. Holmes insisted that this is not a theory to be debated in philosophical circles. This is a law to be applied in the laboratory of your own life. You are the scientist, and your life is the experiment. The hypothesis is simple. Change the mental cause, and the effect must change. The method is precise. Identify the thought pattern that is producing the unwanted effect, neutralize it, and replace it with a new pattern that will produce the desired effect. The results are measurable. You will see changes in your circumstances, your relationships, your health, and your prosperity.
Getting ready for a game means being ready for anything, like packing a spare stick. I like to be prepared. That's why I remember 988, Canada's Suicide Crisis Helpline. It's good to know, just in case. Anyone can call or text for free confidential support from a trained responder, anytime. 988 Suicide Crisis Helpline is funded by the government of Canada.
This is not magic. This is the science of cause and effect, applied to the realm of consciousness. The reason most people fail to change their lives is not because the law does not work. The law always works. They fail because they continue to plant the same seeds while expecting a different harvest. They affirm prosperity in the morning and then spend the day thinking thoughts of lack. They declare health and then immediately worry about symptoms. They claim love and then harbor resentment. The law cannot respond to your wishes. It can only respond to your actual mental state. Your actual mental state is revealed not by what you say in moments of inspiration, but by what you think in moments of stress, what you believe when no one is watching, what you assume when you are tired and your guard is down. This is why Holmes taught that you must become conscious of your unconscious patterns. You must shine the light of awareness into the dark corners of your mental factory and see what seeds have been planted there without your permission. You must examine the blueprints you have been handing to the Universal Builder and determine whether they match the life you actually want to create. You must inspect the molds you have been using and ask whether they are producing the forms you desire. This is the work of self-mastery, and it is the only work that truly matters. The mental factory operates on one principle, the law of correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. As in cause, so in effect. Your outer world is a perfect photograph of your inner world. If you want to know what you have been thinking, look at your life. If you want to know what you truly believe, look at your results. The universe is not lying to you. The law is not broken. The reflection is accurate. If you do not like what you see, do not curse the mirror. Change the face you are showing it. Holmes taught that this is the end of victimhood and the beginning of mastery. You are not at the mercy of the economy, the government, your boss, your spouse, or your genes. You are at the mercy of your own thought, and thought is the one thing you can control. You cannot control the weather, but you can control your response to it. You cannot control other people, but you can control the mental atmosphere you create that either attracts or repels them. You cannot control the past, but you can control the meaning you assign to it and the power you give it in the present moment. The mental factory is yours. The law is yours to use. The harvest is yours to determine. This is the foundation of all power, and it is available to you right now. The question is not whether the law works. The question is whether you are willing to take responsibility for the causes you have been setting in motion. Are you willing to stop blaming and start creating? Are you willing to stop complaining about the harvest and start examining the seeds? Are you willing to become the conscious operator of your mental factory instead of a sleepwalker stumbling through a life of accidental creation? If you are, then everything changes. If you are not, then nothing changes, and you will continue to wonder why life is so hard, why luck is so fickle, why the universe seems to favor everyone except you. The choice is yours, but understand this. It has always been your choice, and it will always be your choice. You are the thinker. The law is the soil. Your life is the harvest. Plant wisely. Life is a mirror, and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is a precise description of how the law operates. When you stand before a physical mirror, the reflection appears instantly and accurately. If you frown, the reflection frowns. If you smile, the reflection smiles. You would never stand before a mirror frowning and expect the reflection to smile back at you. You would never hit the glass, demanding that it show you a different image. You understand intuitively that the mirror has no power to create its own image. It can only reflect what is placed before it. The universe operates on the same principle, except the mirror is not made of glass. It is made of law. The law of mind is the universal mirror, and it reflects your consciousness with absolute fidelity. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every mental pattern you maintain is standing before this mirror, and the mirror is showing you the reflection in the form of your circumstances, your relationships, your health, and your prosperity. If you do not like the reflection, you cannot change it by manipulating the mirror. You cannot force the universe to show you wealth while you are thinking poverty. You cannot demand that life show you love while you are radiating resentment. You cannot insist that your body show you health while you are holding thoughts of disease. The cause must change before the effect can change. Holmes understood that most people spend their entire lives trying to change the reflection while leaving the cause untouched. They want more money, so they work longer hours, take second jobs, cut expenses to the bone, all while maintaining the internal belief that money is scarce, hard to get, and never enough. They are trying to force the mirror to smile while they are frowning. The law cannot respond to their efforts. It can only respond to their mental state. Their efforts may produce temporary results, but those results will always collapse back to match their dominant mental equivalent. This is why lottery winners often end up broke again. They changed the effect without changing the cause, and the law inevitably reasserted the original pattern. The logic of the mirror is unshakable. If you accept that the physical mirror reflects your physical appearance, then you must accept that the universal mirror reflects your mental appearance. If you accept that you cannot change your reflection in glass by hitting the glass, then you must accept that you cannot change your reflection in life by fighting with circumstances. The only way to change any reflection is to change what is being reflected. This is not a matter of belief or faith. This is a matter of understanding how mirrors work. And once you understand how the universal mirror works, you gain access to a power that transcends all external manipulation. Consider the mechanics of this reflection process. When you think a thought, you are broadcasting a frequency into the universal mind. That frequency contains a pattern, a blueprint, a specific instruction. The law receives this frequency and begins to arrange the substance of the universe to match the pattern. This is not instantaneous in the physical world. There is a time lag between the thought and the manifestation, just as there is a time lag between planting a seed and harvesting a crop. But the reflection is guaranteed. The law cannot receive the frequency of poverty and broadcast back the manifestation of wealth. It cannot receive the frequency of fear and broadcast back the manifestation of courage. The reflection must match the source. This means that every circumstance in your life is a message from the law, telling you what frequency you have been broadcasting. Your empty bank account is not a punishment, it is information. It is the law showing you that you have been broadcasting the frequency of lack. Your difficult relationships are not bad luck, they are feedback. They are the law showing you that you have been broadcasting the frequency of conflict, judgment, or unworthiness. Your chronic illness is not a random affliction, it is a signal. It is the law showing you that you have been broadcasting the frequency of disease, whether through worry, stress, resentment, or fear. The reflection is always accurate. The mirror never lies. Most people reject this logic because it requires them to take responsibility for everything in their lives. It is easier to blame the economy, the government, other people, bad luck, or God, than to accept that you are the one standing before the mirror with a frown on your face. But Holmes taught that this rejection of responsibility is also a rejection of power. If you are not responsible for your problems, then you are not capable of solving them. If your poverty is caused by the economy, then you must wait for the economy to change. If your loneliness is caused by other people, then you must wait for them to change. If your illness is caused by genetics or bad luck, then you are helpless. But if you are the cause, then you are also the solution. If you are the one broadcasting the frequency, then you can change the frequency. If you are the one standing before the mirror, then you can change your expression. The power of this principle lies in its simplicity and its certainty. You do not need to understand quantum physics or metaphysics to use a mirror. You simply need to understand that the reflection matches the source. If you want a different reflection, change the source. Holmes taught that the same principle applies to life. If you want different circumstances, change your consciousness. If you want different relationships, change your mental atmosphere. If you want different health, change your habitual thoughts about your body. The law will handle the details. Your job is not to figure out how the mirror works at the molecular level. Your job is to stand before it with the expression you want to see reflected back. This is why Holmes insisted that you must stop fighting with effects. Every moment you spend trying to fix, change, or manipulate the reflection is a moment wasted. You cannot make the mirror smile by painting a smile on the glass. You cannot make your life prosperous by rearranging your furniture or buying lottery tickets or cutting coupons while maintaining a consciousness of lack. These are all attempts to change the effect without changing the cause. They are all based on the false belief that the reflection has power independent of the source. But the reflection has no power. The mirror has no power. All power resides in the cause, which is your thought, your belief, your mental state. When you truly grasp this principle, you stop wasting energy on futile battles with circumstances. You stop arguing with your bank balance, stop resenting your boss, stop cursing your body. You recognize these things for what they are, reflections. They are showing you what you have been broadcasting. They are giving you feedback about your mental state. And feedback is valuable, not because it tells you what is wrong with the world, but because it tells you what needs to change in your consciousness. The person who understands the law of the mirror does not curse the darkness. They simply turn on the light. They do not fight the reflection. They change the face they are showing it. Holmes taught that this is the secret of all mastery. The master does not have more talent, more luck, or more external resources than the victim. The master simply understands where the power lies. The power lies in cause, not in effect. The power lies in consciousness, not in circumstances. The power lies in the thinker, not in the things thought about. When you stand before the mirror of life with this understanding, you become invincible. You cannot be defeated by circumstances because you know that circumstances are just reflections. You cannot be victimized by other people because you know that their behavior is a reflection of the frequency you are broadcasting. You cannot be limited by the past because you know that the past is just an old reflection, and you can create a new one at any moment by changing your mental state. The law of the mirror is unshakable because it is based on the fundamental nature of consciousness and creation. Consciousness is cause. The material world is effect. Cause always precedes effect. Effect always matches cause. This is not philosophy. This is the structure of reality. You can deny it, ignore it, or fight against it, but you cannot change it. The mirror will always reflect what is placed before it. The law will always manifest the pattern impressed upon it. The universe will always correspond to consciousness. This is the iron law, and it operates with mathematical precision in every moment of your existence. Therefore, if you want to change your life, you must change your consciousness. If you want to change your reflection, you must change your face. If you want to change the effect, you must change the cause. There is no other way. There is no shortcut, no trick, no secret technique that allows you to bypass this law. Every system of manifestation, every method of creation, every technique of transformation ultimately reduces to this single principle. Change the cause, and the effect must change. Holmes spent his life teaching this principle in 1,000 different ways, but the core message never changed. You are the thinker. The law is the mirror. Your life is the reflection. Stand before the mirror with the consciousness you want to see reflected, and the law will handle the rest. This is the unshakable logic that forms the foundation of the science of mind. This is the principle that transforms victims into masters, that turns suffering into power, that converts chaos into order. This is the key that unlocks every door, the answer to every problem, the solution to every challenge. You are not at the mercy of the reflection. You are the creator of it. The moment you accept this truth, the moment you stop fighting the mirror and start changing your face, everything shifts. The law has been waiting for you to understand this. The universe has been waiting for you to take your place as the conscious creator of your experience. The mirror has been waiting for you to smile. The required state for applying the causation protocol is what Holmes called objective analysis. You must stop crying over the reflection. You must cease your emotional reaction to the effects that surround you and learn to look at them coldly, scientifically, as data points that reveal the nature of the causes you have been setting in motion. This is not about suppressing emotion or denying pain. This is about recognizing that your problems are not personal attacks from a hostile universe. They are simply information, feedback from the law, messages that tell you what patterns have been operating in your mental factory. When you can look at your life with the detachment of a scientist examining results in a laboratory, you gain the power to change those results. Most people are so identified with their problems that they cannot see them clearly. They are drowning in the effect, overwhelmed by the circumstances, consumed by the drama of their suffering. A person in debt does not see numbers on a page. They see shame, failure, fear, and hopelessness. A person in a failing relationship does not see patterns of interaction. They see betrayal, loneliness, and rejection. A person with chronic illness does not see symptoms. They see their identity, their limitation, their curse. This emotional entanglement with the effect makes it impossible to trace the problem back to its cause. You cannot analyze a pattern when you are inside the pattern. You cannot see the blueprint when you are trapped in the building it created. Objective analysis requires you to step back from the effect and ask a different kind of question. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You ask, what cause is producing this effect? Instead of asking, how can I fix this problem? You ask, what thought pattern generated this problem in the first place? Instead of asking, who is to blame? You ask, what have I been believing that made this inevitable? These questions shift you from the realm of effect to the realm of cause, from the position of victim to the position of creator, from helplessness to power. This shift in perspective is the first and most critical step in the causation protocol. Holmes taught that every problem is a teacher if you are willing to learn from it. Your debt is teaching you about your beliefs about money, security, and worthiness. Your loneliness is teaching you about your beliefs about love, connection, and deservingness. Your illness is teaching you about your beliefs about your body, your vitality, and your right to health. But you can only receive these teachings if you approach your problems with curiosity instead of judgment, with analysis instead of emotion, with the desire to understand instead of the desire to escape. The problem is not your enemy. The problem is a messenger, and it is trying to tell you something crucial about the invisible causes that have been operating beneath the surface of your awareness. When you achieve objective analysis, you begin to see patterns that were previously invisible. You notice that every time you receive money, you immediately worry about losing it. You observe that every time someone gets close to you, you find a reason to push them away. You recognize that every time you feel good, you unconsciously expect something bad to happen. These patterns are the causes, the seeds you have been planting, the blueprints you have been handing to the law. They have been operating automatically, beneath your conscious awareness, generating the effects you have been experiencing. But now, with objective analysis, you can see them. and what you can see, you can change. This state of consciousness is not natural for most people. It must be cultivated deliberately. You must train yourself to observe your life without being consumed by it, to witness your thoughts without being controlled by them, to examine your beliefs without defending them. This requires practice, discipline, and a willingness to be brutally honest with yourself. You cannot lie to the law, and you cannot lie to yourself if you want to change. You must be willing to admit that your poverty is not caused by the economy, that your loneliness is not caused by other people, that your illness is not caused by bad luck. You must be willing to trace every effect back to its cause in your own consciousness, no matter how uncomfortable that process might be. Holmes insisted that this is not about guilt or self-blame. The causes you have been setting in motion were largely unconscious. You inherited beliefs from your parents, absorbed fears from your culture, adopted patterns from your environment. You were not taught the law of causation in school. You were not shown how to operate your mental factory. You have been creating unconsciously, and unconscious creation produces chaotic results. But now, you are becoming conscious. Now you are learning the law. Now you have the opportunity to create deliberately instead of accidentally. This is not about condemning yourself for past ignorance. This is about claiming your power in the present moment. The state of objective analysis allows you to see your life as a scientist sees an experiment. If the experiment produces unexpected results, the scientist does not curse the laboratory or blame the equipment. The scientist examines the variables, identifies the error, adjusts the formula, and runs the experiment again. You must approach your life with the same methodology. If your life is producing poverty, examine the mental variables. What are you thinking about money? What do you believe about your ability to earn, save, and accumulate? What fears are operating beneath your conscious awareness? Identify the error in the formula, the false belief, the limiting pattern, the unconscious assumption, and you have found the cause. Once you have found the cause, you can change it. This is the preparation phase, and it is absolutely essential. You cannot successfully apply the causation protocol if you are still emotionally entangled with your problems. You cannot neutralize a cause if you are still defending it, justifying it, or identifying with it. You cannot plant a new seed if you are still watering the old one with your attention and emotion. Objective analysis creates the mental space necessary for transformation. It allows you to see clearly, think precisely, and act decisively. It transforms you from a victim of circumstance into a scientist of consciousness, from a person who suffers effects into a person who engineers causes. Holmes taught that this state of mind is also a state of power. When you are no longer afraid of your problems, when you are no longer overwhelmed by your circumstances, when you are no longer identified with your suffering, you become free. You become the observer instead of the observed, the thinker instead of the thought, the creator instead of the creation. This freedom is not an escape from reality. It is the recognition of a deeper reality. The reality is that you are not your bank account, your relationships, or your body. You are the consciousness that creates these things. You are the thinker in the mental factory. You are the cause, and everything else is effect. When you know this, truly know this, nothing in the external world can defeat you, because you know that the external world is just a reflection, and you can change the reflection by changing the source.
Getting ready for a game means being ready for anything, like packing a spare stick. I like to be prepared. That's why I remember 988, Canada's Suicide Crisis Helpline. It's good to know, just in case. Anyone can call or text for free confidential support from a trained responder, anytime. 988 Suicide Crisis Helpline is funded by the Government of Canada.
Objective analysis is the mental discipline that allows you to operate as a conscious creator instead of an unconscious victim. It is the skill that separates those who master their lives from those who are mastered by their lives. It is the foundation upon which all transformation is built. Without it, you will continue to fight with effects, to struggle with circumstances, to blame the reflection for not smiling. With it, you gain the ability to trace every problem back to its source, to identify the cause, to neutralize it, and to replace it with a new cause that will generate the life you actually desire. This is not easy, but it is simple. This is not comfortable, but it is necessary. This is not what most people do, but it is what masters do. And you are learning to become a master. Step 1 is the trace. You must look at the effect, the problem, the circumstance, the condition you wish to change, and ask the fundamental question: what belief is the cause of this? This is detective work, an investigation into your own consciousness. You are searching for the mental root, the invisible seed that has grown into the visible problem. If the effect is lack of money, you must trace it back to its cause. Is it the belief that money is hard to get? Is it the belief that you are not worthy of wealth? Is it the belief that rich people are greedy and you do not want to become like them? Is it the fear that if you have money, people will only love you for your wealth? The cause is always a thought, a belief, an assumption that has been operating beneath your conscious awareness, generating the effect with mathematical precision. The trace requires absolute honesty. You cannot find the cause if you are defending your beliefs, justifying your patterns, or clinging to your identity as a victim. You must be willing to dig beneath the surface explanations and find the actual mental root. Most people, when asked why they are broke, will give you a list of external reasons. The economy is bad, their boss does not pay them enough, they have too many expenses, they were not born into wealth. These are all effects masquerading as causes. They are descriptions of the reflection, not the source. The true cause is always internal, always mental, always a pattern of thought that has been impressed upon the law and faithfully manifested as circumstance. Holmes taught a simple technique for finding the cause: follow the feeling. Every effect in your life is accompanied by an emotional signature, and that emotion is a trail that leads back to the belief that generated it. If you feel anxious about money, that anxiety is connected to a belief. Follow the anxiety. What does it tell you? Perhaps it tells you that money is scarce, that you will never have enough, that disaster is always around the corner. That is the cause. If you feel lonely, that loneliness is connected to a belief. Follow the loneliness. What does it tell you? Perhaps it tells you that you are unlovable, that people always leave, that connection is dangerous. That is the cause. The emotion is the smoke. The belief is the fire. Follow the smoke and you will find the fire. Once you have identified the cause, you must examine it with objective analysis. Is this belief true? Is it based on fact, or is it based on fear? Is it serving you, or is it destroying you? Most of the beliefs that generate suffering are not true. They are simply patterns you inherited, absorbed, or adopted at some point in your life. They felt true at the time, so you accepted them without question. But Holmes taught that a belief does not have to be true to be powerful. It only has to be accepted. The law does not judge the truth or falsehood of your beliefs. It simply takes the pattern you give it and manifests it as experience. If you believe you are unworthy, the law will create circumstances that confirm your unworthiness. If you believe money is scarce, the law will create circumstances that confirm scarcity. The belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because it is true, but because the law is faithful. The trace is complete when you have identified the specific belief or thought pattern that is generating the unwanted effect. You must be precise. You cannot change what you cannot name. You cannot neutralize a cause if you are still vague about what it is. Write it down if necessary. State it clearly. I have been believing that I am not worthy of love. I have been believing that money is hard to get. I have been believing that my body is weak. This clarity is essential because it allows you to target the cause directly in the next step. You are no longer fighting with the shadow. You are going after the light that casts it. Step 2 is the neutralization. You cannot just paint over the root. You must pull it out. You cannot just ignore the old belief and hope it goes away. You must consciously, deliberately destroy the cause of the unwanted effect. This is not done through force or struggle. This is done through recognition and declaration. You recognize that the old belief is false, that it has no foundation in truth, that it is simply a pattern you accepted at some point and have been carrying around like a virus in your system. And then you declare its powerlessness. You say, out loud if possible, with conviction and authority, this thought is false. It has no power. I hereby destroy the cause of this lack. You are cutting the power cord to the hologram. You are pulling the plug on the machine that has been generating your suffering. Holmes taught that the power of neutralization lies in the recognition that thoughts have no power except the power you give them. A belief is not a physical object, it is a mental pattern, and mental patterns can be dissolved by consciousness. When you shine the light of awareness on a false belief and declare its powerlessness, you are withdrawing your consent to its operation. You are revoking its authority. You are saying to the law, I no longer authorize this pattern to operate in my mental factory. I am shutting down this production line. The law is obedient. It will cease to manifest the old pattern once you have truly neutralized it at the level of consciousness. The key to effective neutralization is conviction. You cannot neutralize a cause if part of you still believes it is true. You cannot destroy a pattern if you are still defending it or identifying with it. This is why objective analysis is so important in the preparation phase. You must see the belief clearly, recognize its falseness, and be completely willing to let it go.
That was a good one.
If you are trying to neutralize the belief, I am unworthy, while still secretly believing that you are unworthy, the neutralization will fail. The law responds to your actual mental state, not to your words. Your words are powerful only when they are aligned with your consciousness. Therefore, you must mean what you say. You must declare the powerlessness of the old cause with absolute certainty, with the authority of one who knows the law and knows that the law is obedient. Some people find it helpful to use imagery during neutralization. Visualize the old belief as a weed with roots in your mental factory. See yourself pulling it out, roots and all. See yourself throwing it into a fire and watching it burn. See the space where it used to be now clear and empty, ready for a new seed. This imagery engages the subconscious mind and makes the neutralization more effective. Holmes taught that the subconscious mind thinks in pictures, and when you give it a clear picture of the old
Hey, bet. Let's go through these one at a time. I see we got some very interesting ones. Thank you, guys. You fit dicks in your nostrils. Oh, bro. Bro, I feel so sad for you, man. Are you okay, bro? Well, we're gonna remove that because this is a PG channel, and I'm trying to swear less, bro. So you can't just be saying that just because you're mad at yourself, bro. But thanks, thank you though. Thank you for the comment. It lets oh man, I shouldn't have removed that. Then it lets YouTube know that I'm somewhat worth interesting seeing rather. I think next time I'm just gonna leave it there and because every time one of these guys does it, I do subscribe to them. Oh man, every time someone does look at a big nose comment, I'm like, thank you, bro. But what am I supposed to do with that? Oh yeah, I like bagels. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to. I'm gonna make you a mod. Yeah. Okay, let's continue this. Oh man, that was a lot quicker. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I like bagels. Bye. I subbed. Thank you. I like bagels and bus business underscore bo1 says hello. Says hi. Says how your day. says GLN with the stream. Says, are you pre-recording? No, bro. I'm just doing a 90 day meditation thing. If I can do this continuously, yeah, that'd be cool. But then afterwards, I'm going to try and change my time until 5 a.m. and do this at 5 a.m. Try and get to bed at like 9. Then I can get at least like 5 to 6 hours in between there. Because I realize I don't really need too much sleep. Yeah. So yeah, because even then, like I've been trying to go back to sleep every single time I get up and do this, but then I just end up just staying up for the rest of the day. So why not just change my time and get it into like 5 a.m. Oh yeah, that's the comment I was gonna say. All the better to smell you with, like, cause what am I gonna do with big nostrils, bro? Message out for review. Okay, I see. Oh, Alex, you're cute, bro. You're cute. I think you're just a little kid, honestly. Oh, okay. Yeah, then certified nothingness. I like the name. Says yo, and then he says hi, and that was Alex with a whole bunch of hate crime. Bruh, bruh. I don't even have the words for you. It's not even hate. It's just like considering I used to just hate on people just for the fact of either boredom or because I actually didn't even know why I was doing it. Once you're honest with yourself about that, things will clear up so much, man. I wish you the best and I hope you clear up your head. I hope life gets better for you, but it'll only start when you do, bro. So take care of yourself. Come back to the page anytime. I didn't block you. I did remove your comments though. So stay blessed. Come back with a different attitude. That's about it, man. Because even if you do want to come here just hating, that just tells YouTube I'm something worth watching. So thank you for that, regardless. Take care. Yeah. And then Gurmeet King. I like that. Dang, yeah. It says R4D says yo chill to Alex's comment. Yeah, he's right. You gotta chill, bro. Anyways, let's get it. That's that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Peace out, everyone. I think I'm gonna go. I'm definitely gonna go try and go stream, because I've been playing Stumble Guys for a decent bit now, and I've had like a decent like 60 to 70 win ratio. Sometimes like a lot of times actually it's like in the 90s. But I think that's just like when you first start the game, they put you on easy mode, then you just start playing with like harder players, right? Especially when you get ranked. But all in all, that's it. Thank you guys. Peace out. Peace. Oh wait, I gotta try this again. Nice. Peace. Oh shit. That's